What do you expect from Liverpool tonight?
Well, as you mentioned, they've been off to a bad start. Now, the longer this goes on, the harder it is to get out of it. What they need is a bit of confidence. And there's no better way to get confidence than to knock 5 or 6 goals in here tonight. So what I'd be looking for would be a solid professional performance where they're tight at one end and they're putting the goals away at the other end. And maybe then they'll be able to turn the corner.
It helped them a bit last season, didn't it? Because they beat the Finnish side.
They beat the Finnish side 6 here. They've got to score goals tonight. They've got to put on a good performance because confidence is the key to all this.
And if they didn't,
well, the run could go on for a long time.
What have you felt about Liverpool so far this season, Jim?
Well, obviously it's nothing like the old Liverpool, and although I've upset a few people locally in the past by saying that I don't like to see Liverpool win everything, now that you see the team decimated really and not looking impressive, I rather regret it, especially when they're representing us in Europe. I want to see the old Liverpool again. But just a word of warning, the European Championships and the World Cups have shown us that there isn't that much difference between teams now, even though we think there is. You know, Cyprus, what's Cyprus? Yeah. They all can play.
Yeah, well, that's right, because this side, actually, they beat the Romanian champions in the Champions Cup last year, and they ran Red Star Belgrade to a decent game, losing 3-1 in Belgrade, so that's a good point. Well, it may not be a pushover. Anyway, let's join Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
Thanks, Des, and good evening, everybody. The first news from the commentary box is, in fact, quite hot news, because in the last hour or so, these supporters won't have heard yet, Liverpool have signed a new player. They've agreed a fee of £500,000 for 29-year-old Torben Picnic from Copenhagen, who played so well for Denmark in the final stages of the European Championships in Sweden. And according to Graham Souness, who I've just been speaking to, there's a few formalities to be sorted out tomorrow, but if they are processed, Picnic could be available for selection at Aston Villa on Saturday. Well, that's the news. And now, as for tonight's team, Liverpool are again blighted by injuries. Rob Jones, John Barnes and Michael Thomas, all well documented, but they're also without Steve McManaman, who has a back problem, and Ronnie Whelan, who has a thigh strain. Number 7, Mike Marsh, will be at right back. Number 2, Steve Harkness at left back. Number 3, David Burrows will play in midfield, and number 8, Paul Stewart, will play up front with Ian Rush. Rush is now what's called an assimilated player, doesn't count as one of the 3 permitted foreigners, and he's within 2 goals of Roger Hunt's Liverpool record of 17 goals in European competition. Well, Rush will get to know the Cypriots quite well, because Apollon formed the backbone of the Cyprus national side, who shortly play Wales in the World Cup. Number 6, John Yangoudakis, is captain of both club and country. And I hope that pronunciation doesn't come up too often tonight. Number 5, David Kenny, is a Scot who saw service with Celtic and Partick Thistle, but he's in his 10th season now in Cyprus. And they have 2 other foreigners, both Yugoslavs. Number 8, Spoljaric, joined them recently from OFK Belgrade. And the other one, Pazirovic, who's their top scorer, is suspended following offences in last season's European Cup. In fact, it's the first time Liverpool have played a team from Cyprus in European competition in something like 160 European matches down the years. And the Anfield ground for this match looking in great shape. You've just got a view there of the pitch, which has been completely reconstructed, in fact, this summer at a cost of £100,000. They took the top 6 inches off. And the far side there, the new centenary stand, the tier on the top was actually built while they kept the seats in the bottom. Now you'll see from the other side of the ground what the main stand now looks like if you're sitting in the new stand, which altogether cost about £8 million. And I think there may just be time before the kick-off here to get Trevor Brooking's thoughts on what he might expect to see tonight.
Well, I think, like most everyone, hoping that Liverpool could get a bit of their confidence back and 1 or 2 goals along the way. Possibly playing Paul Stewart, one of the Englishmen, along with David James, to have been signed since this time last year. And playing up front, his aerial ability might be what Graham Souness is hoping for.
So it's Liverpool in red, Apollon in blue. A club only formed in the 50s and named after the Greek god Apollo. He's god of music, I believe, and he was said to be both beautiful and violent in mythology. Well, which way they'll go, we'll wait and see. Here's Redknapp for Liverpool, inside towards Rush. That was Ioannou. Molby challenging. What the Cypriot team will do is pull players back behind the ball at all times and try and keep the score down. Here's Redknapp. Number 3 is Burrows. Mark Walters starting wide on the right, wearing number 11. There he is, in fact. Marsh, Stewart, Redknapp. Oh, and a save early on for Christophe from Jamie Redknapp's shot. In fact, the goalkeeper is the national team keeper, and he was brought into the action fairly rapidly here. Left foot shot from Redknapp, and he went to his left.
He's been in the lineup, the starting lineup, quite a few occasions this year, Jamie Redknapp. 12 months older now, he's a good passer of the ball, and I'm sure he's delighted to be getting that first choice selection with the other more experienced players sitting on the bench. Let's see how he does this evening.
Number 9 here is Duras for the Cypriots. And number 8 is Spoljaric. Back to his sweeper and captain. Then Christophe, who's a Craig Johnston lookalike, and tried to get Kenny through there. Needless to say, the amended law about passing to the goalkeeper also applies in Europe. Here's Mark Wright. Redknapp's made a forward run, number 5. Walters. Walters crosses deep, it's too deep.
Well, that was a great waste, wasn't it? I mean, Mark Walters, his favourite step over, completely wrong-footed his full-back Pitas, and had plenty of time to get over a quality cross. But I mean, he beat him so easily. I would have thought Liverpool would want to get the ball out wide to him straight away.
Number 2, Andrelis, who started off in midfield. In fact, Kenny, the Scotsman, has started off up front, wearing number 5. Burrows. That's Harkness who dived in, rather. Isafides. And Spoljaric. He scored a hat-trick when Liverpool had this team watch, the number 8. And he's said to be an accomplished player, but here's Paul Stewart for Liverpool. Oh, good play! That was a super goal by Paul Stewart. And a great start for Liverpool. He made the opening and he took it. Stewart, who played in Europe for Spurs, in fact in this same competition last season, driving that well beyond the keeper, Trevor.
Well, it's a magnificent shot. I mean, the Limassol side only had themselves to blame. It was the number 5 playing deep, Kenny, who gave a sloppy ball away, lost possession. Paul Stewart, though, take nothing away. It was still only a half chance from the edge of the area at that stage, and he hit it into the top corner superbly. And a side like Limassol, they couldn't afford to concede a goal that early, and now perhaps Liverpool will be rampant.
Stewart's first goal in Europe, and it gives Liverpool a platform here. That's Mark Walters. Stewart again. That's a corner. It's going to be taken by Mulvey. Mark Wright is on the near post. Oh, and the keeper. Good job for him that Wright didn't get up a bit higher. 5 minutes gone in this European Cup Winners' Cup first leg, and Liverpool lead 1-0. And Rush here putting pressure on number 11, Karalambros. And suddenly it's Apollon who break with Christophe. The number 10 trying to work himself into the similar position from which Stewart scored at the other end.
Well, that was Christophe, but I think one of the problems early on for Limassol is that they've got 10 outfield players almost back in their own half, so they've got no outlet, and they're trying to pass it amongst themselves in defence and getting caught in possession. That's a problem. I think they've got to give themselves a target as well as Kenny up front.
This is Nicol. Stewart to Rush. Oh, well played by Stewart. That goal seems to have given him some early confidence. This is Burrows. That was Harkness. Liverpool and Limassol are just about the two furthest points apart on the UEFA map. 2,500 miles and a 4.5-hour flight. But they do share something in common. They're both seaports. And there's special interest in this match for a section of the live television audience in both England and Cyprus. That's Redknapp with the long ball. The reason for that being that there are 300,000 Cypriots in England. There are a few hundred here tonight, in fact, behind that goal. And they're making themselves heard. But here's Walters. And there are some 10,000 British people in Cyprus, many of them servicemen and their families. But Limassol is in the south of the island, quite near the British bases. Spoljaric. Number 2 making the run is Andrelis, but he's offside.
I mean, up to now they look totally overawed. The only player who does look quite comfortable is the tall number 8, Spoljaric. He at least seems a bit composed and is trying to use the ball, but the others look very edgy, a bit overawed by coming to Anfield.
Yes, a big test for them. They were almost like tourists when they trained here last night, taking photographs and things. English football is very popular in Cyprus. Here's Redknapp. Burrows. Back to Nicol. Cross to Molby. Nicol again. Overhead.
But at this moment, there's no one within 30 yards of the halfway line on the Limassol side, and it just shows how many players they're getting back, and it's almost attack against defence. It's as if a coach has set up a training session, and at the moment, they're never going to sort of get a release of the pressure.
Nearly 9 minutes gone, and Liverpool lead 1-0. If you've just this minute switched on, Paul Stewart scoring an early goal with a thunderous shot, putting Liverpool in charge. That was a fairly hefty challenge by Stewart on Andrelis. But number 7 here is ECWC. Andrelis. ECWC again. And that strikes Nicol. It'll be the first corner for the Cypriots. And they will send up their big number 4, Ioannou, into the penalty area. Stewart comes tracking him back. There's Ian Rush doing the donkey work there and getting it back. Burrows. Now Walters, who switched to the left. Stewart making strides in the centre. He's the only one who is at the moment, so Walters checks. Now it comes in. Spoljaric with the header. And this is Mark Wright. Using the space.
I think there'll be many opportunities for Mark Wright and Steve Nicol, the two centre-backs, to do that. He's having a smile, probably somebody taking the mick out of him. Do you think you're going to score from that range? But there is the opportunity for all the back four just to bring it forward.
There was even a little doubt about Mark Wright's fitness tonight, I gather, but he's out there. And Liverpool's resources clearly stretched just at the moment with availability, which is probably one reason why Graham Souness is glad to get the Danish international picnic in the ranks. Here's Kenny. It's his surname, incidentally. And this is Stewart. going for his second.
Again, playing across midfield. Penny, who's supposedly the striker, the blonde-haired player, is so deep, and then they lost possession, and Paul Stewart is left 1 against 1. They're playing themselves into trouble.
They are indeed, exactly that. This is Redknapp and now Walters. Mulvey's pulled away on this side. It's still Walters. Redknapp. This is Mike Marsh to hit it. Marsh did a good job at right back. I remember in a European game last year, Trevor, against Auxerre, I think it was, when he scored.
He's one of those very versatile players, and I mean, he sets himself up well for this volley, just drags it across the goal, but I mean, is at home in either fullback position. I mean, he's naturally right-footed, any of the midfields, and I can remember the last season I've seen it, Queen's Park Rangers playing up front and doing well. Sometimes he probably suffers as a result, because you can never get settled in one position.
This is Stewart. Harkness. Nicol. "12 minutes gone. Anybody just coming in? Liverpool lead 1-0. Paul Stewart the scorer. This is Walters. Mulvey. Looking for Redknapp, who's pretty mobile in this opening period. Walters. 3 are in the centre waiting. What may affect the Cypriot team a little bit here, Trevor, is that their league season doesn't start for another 10 days, so they've come into this match fairly cold.
And however hard you have sort of pre-season matches and practice match games, there's nothing like a competitive game. And to come to Anfield, where they're going to be overawed at best, it certainly has showed in the early play, where they have conceded possession.
Redknapp. Walters. Andrelis. Christophe, no relation to the goalkeeper, although they share the same surname. That's number 10, Christophe. This is Steve Nicol. Burrows. Right. By Ioanu, back to Nicol. Mulvey. Stewart's touch to rush. Oh, and Stewart was checked by the number 11, Haralambros, as he went for the return. That's what he's cross about. It was a deliberate body check after he'd played the first ball, and Liverpool have a free kick 25 yards out, which might appeal to Jan Mulvey, among others, or even David Burrows. That's Burrows.
Always got underneath that, but I mean, most interest, we mentioned Paul Stewart and Ian Rush, the fact that Dean Saunders has gone now, and Ronnie Rosenthal on the bench, so Paul Stewart is preferred. Wonder what Graham Souness will do as far as a striking partner for Ian Rush, and whether Paul Stewart might end up going back to his old Man City position.
That is a possibility. Mention of Rosenthal there. This is Stewart on the ball now, in fact, to Walters. What happened with Rosenthal for this match, Trevor, was that because they can only name 3 foreigners, and initially Ronnie Whelan was in the squad, Graham Souness did his planning without Ronnie Rosenthal, and of course when Whelan was found to have a groin strain, then Souness brought Rosenthal back among the substitutes. The rules are a bit complicated in Europe now. It's 3 foreigners, and then you can have 2 what they call assimilated players, those who've played some of their early career in the said country, which is why Rush is now in that category. Here's Wright. Here's one of the foreigners, or so-called, Stevie Nicol. Burrows. Well, he was off balance when he hit that. Well, the spectators hoping to see a bit of a landslide tonight. Liverpool have in the past, in fact, run up double figures 3 times in Europe. But maybe that's asking too much. As they were saying, Alan Hansen was saying before the game, it was 6 here at the corresponding stage last season of the UEFA Cup. And Mike Marsh down. Any predictions on the score here, Trevor, or is it too early?
Well, I mean, I know Alan was mentioning the studio 5 or 6, and I mean, the way it started, you wouldn't sort of say that was out of order, because they do look very shaky. I think as well, when you decided to play so many men defensively and knocking it amongst yourselves, the great problem now, you can't pass back to the goalkeeper. And if they haven't been in a competitive game, you can see them dithering and think suddenly, oh, I can't knock it back to the keeper, and putting themselves in trouble. And that seems to be a problem for them, the new rule as well.
So stay with us if you're watching at home, because we're expecting a few goals here. It's 1-0 to Liverpool, 17 minutes gone. Paul Stewart the scorer after 4 minutes. This is Wright. Interception from Nicol's pass was by Spoljaric, the number 8. Has that languid Yugoslav style. It nearly came to something there, but the pass meant for ECWC runs out. Molby. Lofted pass towards Mark Walters. Number 3, Pittas, is the man shadowing Walters. He's known to be quite a good marker. Here's Molby, who wasn't marked. It's too long for Rush, but this is Burrows. Molby's touch to Nicol. Right. Surely a chance here for one or two of Liverpool's back players to get forward tonight. Nicol on the ball now. Touched by Stewart to Rush. Redknapp in there. Rush again. Spoljaric. David James playing his first European game in goal for Liverpool. Good enough to act as the outfield player there and spread the play to the other side. Here's Walters. He's seeing plenty of the ball. Takes on Pittas and forces the corner. Short one play to Marsh. Corner again. "20 minutes gone. Liverpool 1, Apollon 0. Stewart signalling where he wants the corner placed here. Didn't quite find him. This is Kenny. He's got about 40 friends and relatives in the stand. Number 5, David Kenny. They've come down from Glasgow, where a lot of his family still live. And that's the situation as things stand here. Redknapp. Karalambros. And the sweeper there, number 6, Yangudakis, is the man who was pulled down by Paul Stewart. Needs to be a bit careful because Yangudakis works in the police force. They've got a fair spread of part-timers in this team, about half and half in fact. Isafides. Number 9, Duras. Spoljaric. He does seem as though he can dictate the play a little bit given possession. That was a bit tight. And here's Nicol to Molby. Mark Wright. Marsh saw the space. Saw Walters. Away by Ioanu, only as far as Molby. Little ball in towards Redknapp. Oh, and he won it back, Redknapp there, and he got it back for Walters, and off the defender, and out eventually for a corner. Another good burst by Jamie Redknapp.
Just as you thought the chance had gone away, they got a fortunate rebound. Good cross. The goalkeeper nearly made the mistake of going for the cross and to get into cover his near post, and then in the end conceded the corner.
This is Molby. Walters. Corner again. Defender got a foot in as he shot. Mark Walters from Jan Molby's prompting. And Liverpool here have complete control of the game with a goal to the good halfway through the first half. Here's Walters again.
That's about 3 or 4 crosses in the last 5 minutes that have got nowhere near the mark, and when you've got sort of Mark Wright in there up for corners and Paul Stewart, who's so good in the air, it is a terrible waste if you're not even giving them a chance to get ahead of them.
Yes, and I think the way the game is shaping up, a lot of the ball is going to go out to Walters, so he needs to provide slightly better service than that. This is Nicol. Still Steve Nicol. It will be Walters again. This time a shorter one to Redknapp. Shook up his opponent but fouled him.
Jamie Redknapp jogging back and doing the attacking midfield role, and without Michael Thomas in the side. Sometimes this season he's been playing out wide of midfield, but he's playing more central. Jan Molby sitting, doing the anchor job of Ronnie Whelan. Jamie Redknapp being allowed to go freer.
Jamie Redknapp's now 19, but Liverpool do have a 17-year-old on the bench tonight, Phil Charnock. Maybe a name for the future. He's been brought into the squad. One of the YTS lads who's come through, and there he is, in fact, a fresh-faced young man. His family are big Liverpool supporters. Big opportunity to be selected even on the bench for a game like this. Spoljaric. Christophe. And Pittas will take the free kick for Apollon. Forward by Burrows. He's found Rush. Stewart in lots of space. And it nearly came to him after that. The challenge was by number 11, Karalambros, and the referee has said it was a foul.
Not too sure that was a free kick, but I mean, he was taking a charge. You don't try and dribble as the last man, and Paul Stewart, he just got to knock it out of touch, because days gone by it would have been a goalkeeper's pass back.
Well, the fans behind the goal don't like it because that's where the Apollon horde is gathered, but the two players shaping up for a shot here. Number 10, Molby with the ball, and Burrows to his left. Burrows.
I think his anguish suggests it was quite close, but it was definitely better than the last effort. The previous one was a bit higher. That one was definitely close to the goalkeeper. Casually watching it, I don't think he'd have got near it.
While we were watching all that build-up on the edge of the area, there was a yellow card shown to Karalambros, number 11. Whether that was for the initial foul or the descent, I'm not quite sure, but he definitely got booked. Here's number 7, Isafides. Christophe coming in from the far side. Spoliaric brings the first real save from David James. Play spread towards Paul Stewart. Charalambros, that's Duras. I suppose the longer it stays at 1, the more the Cypriots will grow in confidence. They got off to something of a bombshell after 4 minutes. Not the start they wanted, but here's the man who provided that, it's Stewart. Looking for Walters coming in now with the header. It's a corner, in fact. The defender adjudged to have got in front of Walters. Referee is from Portugal, by the way, Viega. He took charge of England's match in Spain a week ago. So Mark Wright will be familiar with him, and I should think the referee's also familiar with Mark Wright. Well taken by the goalkeeper who doubles up as a bank clerk in the week, Christophe. That's where the change of law affects the defender. Stewart, Molby, looking for Walters. Walters again. Rush, little dummy, not quite read by Stewart. Kenny for Apollon, who are breaking now. Foul by Burrows, who says he took the ball, but the tackle deemed illegal. Isafides to Spoliaric. Karalambros, number 11. Offside, just.
With no one to mark, it is quite difficult, isn't it, for Liverpool back 4 suddenly to sort of have no one to pick up. They're holding the line, but when people are running from deep, it is a dangerous tactic, and just now and again you have the feeling they could get caught out once.
Here's Wright. Oh, Stewart, not quite. Corner given. So Stewart goes across. Mark Wright will move into the penalty area to add some height. Harkness has put the ball down, and Molby has gone across to join him. Cypriots not really 10 yards. Up goes Rush. Oh, and the keeper did he nearly punch it into his own net there?
He was definitely in a terrible position. Whether it came off somebody's head before he got there, I mean, you see he's groping, and I think it's just hit him on the head almost. He headed it over the crossbar.
Would have been a marvellous own goal, wouldn't it? Half an hour gone, Liverpool lead 1-0. Rush.
Example there, a slight problem, you know, for Graham Souness. David Burrows playing in a wide left position in midfield, where you need somebody when they've got so many back, a little bit like Mark Waters, that can take people on. Although at the moment Mark Waters can't get his final crossing, and that was a basic throw-in with the back foot coming up.
Yes, it was. I think if McManaman had been fit, we probably would have seen him either on the other flank or maybe even up front. Anyway, it's Molby to take the throw. That's aimed towards Mark Wright, and the whistle's gone again. This time he's penalised for using his arms. So there's the position after half an hour's play at Anfield in this European Cup Winners' Cup tie. Liverpool, the FA Cup holders, leading 1-0 against the Cypriot Cup holders, Apollon of Limassol. Goal scorer Paul Stewart, but by now Liverpool would have been hoping for the second to add to the one he got after 4 minutes. The longer it stays at 1, the better the chances the Cypriots have of keeping the tie alive. They've got the home leg, of course, to come a week next Tuesday in Limassol, and they were very keen to attract a full house to that, which of course depends partly on tonight's result. Here's Molby. Forward by Nicol, but not into any great danger area. Sweeper came across. Pitas, Spoljaric. Still trying to release Kenny down the middle. They haven't done it yet, but this is Andrelis, and they won't do it now. Here's Molby. Stewart, who slipped. Duras. Karalambros making a run from the back, number 11. There's Kenny now with Redknapp. And Harkness penalised. There's also a problem for Liverpool, as if they need another injury in the centre circle. And David Burrows needing some attention, it would seem.
He just tackled back early, and feeling the way he went, he might have just turned his ankle over. There you can see the tear in the sock, and as you say, you don't want another injury. I mean, on the bench, I suppose you have got Ronnie Rosenthal, who could come on. He can play out wide, can't he? As you can see, it just lunges in, just catches that foot that was hanging out, and it's his right leg. Don Hutchinson could play in midfield, and even, well, could young Phil Charnock get a chance? Who knows? Funnily
enough, Charnock is a left-sided midfield player from the reports I've got, Trevor. They say he's got a very sweet left foot, so if it's not too early for a 17-year-old, it could be his moment. Comes from Hullsall near Southport.
He's got that little look going through his mind. Oh, goodness me, perhaps I could get on here.
Absolutely. There's Nicky Tanner, who would be a more defensive substitute, but at the moment David Burrows has hobbled somewhat uncertainly back into action. It's a free kick meantime to Limassol, to be taken by Spoljaric. Christophe gets the flick on. Walters. Touched by Stewart. Then Kenny's header to Christophe. Here's Isafides. Backing him up, number 2, Andrelis. Duras. Kenny. Marsh for Liverpool. Now Walters has got some space to run here at his defender. He's got 4 Liverpool players making their way into the penalty area. 5 now. Ioanu, the defender, finally got to the ball, but in doing so concedes a free kick, which is, I think, the best Walters was going to get out of that situation, to be honest. So Walters moves away. Oh, referee's not happy about the 10 yards again. This is Walters. Molby's cross.
Even up here, you can hear the shouts from the bench. Mark Walters. He had a lot of time to run, and then he gradually slowed down, and then, all right, he won a free kick, but they're all shouting at him from the bench, tell him to get the crosses in early, and that's where it's falling down at the moment, that last third of the field. You can see them trying to attract his attention. As a player, then that's when you keep your head down and sort of make out you can't hear them.
Here's Mulby. Nickel. Mulby. Harkness overlapping. And he's been pulled up, but that's where defenders are in a nightmare position with the new law. Number 7, Georgi Safidis, couldn't pass back to his keeper, but there wasn't much else he could do. Nickel. Here's Rush coming in, goalkeeper coming out. And the Liverpool supporters will be really wondering, Trevor, where the second goal is going to come from now.
Well, after that early goal, it should have come before now. And just in that one move was an indication. Steve Nicol actually did bring it deep into the Cyprus defence, and I think he, Mark Wright, Steve Harkness on the left, and then Mike Marsh have to do that more and more. I mean, we've got in the studio Alan Hansen, who I'm sure would relish an evening like this.
Wouldn't he just? And a few other members of that team too. Here come the Cypriots. Can they stay onside? Well, in fact, Cheryl Ambrose tried to go through himself. It was a determined effort by the number 11. And James' clearance, an excellent pass of some 60 yards to Paul Stewart. But as he takes on the defender, he loses possession. Won back for him by Redknapp. Now Mulby and Marsh. Walters. Well, he settled for the free kick. If he'd played on, he probably would have been away with an advantage. Mulby's cross, Stewart! And there is the second one. And Paul Stewart accepts the congratulations of Ian Rush. 38 minutes gone, and Liverpool are 2 up, and Stewart has got them both.
Well, that's just what he's been crying out for, a superb cross from Mulby. The first decent cross has come in, and look at the defence, so static. The goalkeeper stays on his line, and where he heads, it's the edge of the 6-yard box. Some goalkeepers would have come out, but you have to say that if you could have get quality crosses like that in, we wouldn't have had to wait this long and for the second goal.
So it was Rush who wanted 2 goals to equal a record. It's Stewart who's got 2 goals. And here's Isafidis for Apollon. So Stewart on a hat-trick now. A year ago, when Liverpool scored 6 against Kuusisilahti, Dean Saunders got 4. That was a club record for a European game. Something for Stewart to go for perhaps tonight. Christophe. Marsh. Redknapp in the penalty area. This is Walters. Rush is also in the centre. Moving across now. Marsh. Rush. Here's a chance for him. Yes! That's 3-0 Liverpool, and Ian Rush scores what for him is goal number 16 in Europe for Liverpool. And it takes him within 1 of Roger Hunt.
Good little ball between the two. Where the marker goes, no one knows. Ian Rush just swivels and hits in. 1 against 1. Look at the number 4, he went the wrong way somewhere.
Well, those 2 goals in a minute have put a completely different complexion on things. After 38 minutes, it was only 1-0, and the men from Cyprus were probably thinking they'd done fairly well, but now they're 3 down. Here's Walters. Stewart far post now, headed out by Ioanu. and suddenly everybody on the Liverpool side wants the ball. Redknapp to Walters. Oh, and Liverpool have an injury again. It's Mike Marsh. And while he's down, I ought to also mention the other record that Ian Rush is going for currently, because it is a momentous one, really. Roger Hunt, the same man again, finished his distinguished career here at Liverpool with a total of 285 first-team goals. The one that Rush has just scored gives him a total of 281. So Graham Souness's number 9 is within 4 of a real landmark. But the concern at the moment is Mike Marsh.
It is, but I must say, if I was Ian Rush, I would be sort of feeling that I could get another couple towards that figure. Here's the actual tackle. It's a bit of a jump tackle, and Kenny just comes in a bit late and catches it high up, but he left himself a bit open there, Mike Marsh, and hopefully it's not too bad. The old shin pad might have protected it.
Well, there's one or two Ian Rushes of the future, perhaps. They seem to be playing conkers. It's a little game that's sort of stood the test of time. Mr. Brooking, did you ever do that when you were at school?
Well, I did. There's not much power. Those conkers could be lasting for the rest of the second half, I would have thought, the way they're going on there. They're obviously, hopefully, not missed the last 2 goals in the last couple of minutes.
Well, Marsh is back on his feet, and Liverpool, metaphorically, are very much back on theirs. After an uncertain spell halfway through the first half, they've now gone into a clear 3-0 lead. And at this stage, you would think that's gone some way towards settling this tie in the European Winners' Cup. We have, in fact, 3 minutes left in the first half, and this is Karalambros. And this is Mulvey. Harkness. Oh, it's a shove by ECWC. It's going to be a free kick in a dangerous position here for Liverpool. Now then, Mulvey. What's he going to do with this? Lofted to the far side, looking for Ian Rush. 18 years ago tonight, on this ground, Liverpool set their European scoring record when they beat a team from Norway called Strømsgodset Drammen by 11 goals to 0. I think that was Bob Paisley's first European match as manager. And they've twice scored 10. And at the moment tonight, it stands at 3. Karalambros chopping down Stewart. Now, Karalambros had a yellow card, I thought, in the wall early in the game, Trevor. If he has, it's going to be a red.
He was the one who got caught in possession and brought down Paul Stewart, then started arguing on the edge of the area when he did get a yellow card, so it's going to be the red, yes? He's
off. Yes, I thought that would happen, and the referee showed both, of course, with a second offence. And number 11, Marios Karalambros, has been sent off the field for a second bookable offence. A chopped tackle on Paul Stewart gets him dismissed. And as if they hadn't got enough problems, they're now down to 10.
And that one was a booking offence. I mean, the first one was stupid from his own point of view, whether it was the descent or what, but that one, as you can see, Paul Stewart did feel it. He had no chance getting the ball and did deserve the booking.
It's Mulvey floating it in. Up they go! Oh, it was nearly number 4, nearly Ian Rush's second. He was very close there. And now the team from Cyprus are all over the place. They've lost a player, they've lost 3 goals, and it might have been 4. The keeper was rooted, wasn't he?
Well, he does seem to be rooted. I mean, that one was near 6-yard, edge of the 6-yard box again, and Ian Rush, I think, should have scored. In fact, certainly should have got it on target. Just couldn't quite keep it down, but at the moment you do feel the second half could be right for the floodgates to open.
Stoppage time at the end of the first half. One or two of our viewers might just like to know that that procedure for sending off a player who commits a second offence has been made a lot clearer for referees, or for the crowd really, by virtue of the fact the referee now shows both cards when he's actually sending a player off, having already cautioned him. One of the amendments to the law, which came in at the beginning of this season, just like the pass to the goalkeeper, which I'm trying hard not to call the back pass, because it doesn't have to be. Anyway, here's Marsh. Walters. Marsh again. Well, it's really a damage limitation exercise now for Apollon, isn't it?
Well, it is, and goalkeeper there, Christophe, must think to himself, that isn't going to be the last save we're going to make this evening, and he's facing 3-0, and all goalkeepers dread a night like this, and you just wonder in the second half, if, especially as they have been playing competitive games and they start to tire, what Liverpool could edge towards.
Here's Mark Wright. He's got some space there, and he took advantage of it. Walters again. Redknapp. Marsh to Mulvey. Once more Walters. Redknapp still got it. Half-time at Anfield in the European Cup Winners' Cup. Liverpool lead ApollonLimassol by 3-0. The first two scored by Paul Stewart after 4 minutes and 38, and Ian Rush coming along with the third goal on 40 minutes to give Liverpool what's obvious. Add to that revelation about Peter Beardsley, Trevor?
Well, I think, you know, one of the problems is a lot of strikers these days tend to be, as Jim says, sort of players that sort of get the ball knocked into them, lay it off and then make a run from there, whereas Peter Beardsley is that special talent where he has the ability to beat defenders, drop deep and feed others, and sort of be a link man between the striking partnership and the midfield, and we haven't been able to replace him, and he's playing so well, why not bring him back?
Well, he was certainly a great favourite with the crowd here, and teams back on the pitch. Liverpool actually have not been scoring goals really in the Premier League very much, but 3, which is what they've registered so far tonight, equals their best game of the season in that respect. They got 3 in the Charity Shield at Wembley, but they'll be hoping to add to that total freely in the second half, which now lies ahead of us here at Anfield. If you did join the match late, Paul Stewart has scored 2 of the Liverpool goals and Ian Rush the other. Stewart wants 1 for his hat-trick tonight. Rush wants 1 more to equal the Liverpool record of goals in Europe held by Roger Hunt. This is number 8, Spoljaric for Apollon. Christophe. Needless to say, Liverpool will be hoping to make the extra man tell at all times after the sending off of the Apollon number 11. Here's ECWC. Corner will be taken by Pittas, the number 3, and number 4, Ioanu, has gone forward. He's the only player at the moment with Christophe in the penalty area. And it was Spoljaric who came from a deeper position, miscued the shot. Here's Ioanu. So a spirited start to the second half by the 10 men. They're not, generally speaking, a very tall side. In fact, Ioanu, who has gone up there number 4, is the only one who's anything like that size. Christophe is just in front of him now. Spoljaric. Corner. Spoljaric, who's just gone across to take this corner, is in fact a Serbian, He came out of what used to be Yugoslavia, came out of Serbia a month ago from OFK Belgrade to join the Cypriot team.
Mentioned this Boliaric who's taken the corner. He looks a comfortable player, doesn't he? Good technique. You feel he could have played in a better side, perhaps when he settles down and gets picked up there by another club.
This is ECWC, number 7, being challenged by Mark Walters. And now Jan Gudakis, I'm pleased to say, hasn't had the ball too often. And Liverpool have started the second half relatively slowly, and the Cypriots have had a little flurry up there in the home penalty area. Here's Mark Wright. Harkness, Rush, Mulvey. Redknapp looking for Rush. Harkness, and again he's thrown himself into tackles a bit, Steve Harkness. It's oh, it was Burrows going in for that one, but Duras playing his way out of trouble for Apollon. And this is Spoliaric. It's Pitas who he was looking for on this side. Here's Redknapp. Marsh to Walters. Back again to Marsh. Rush comes across the area now. The header was by number 2, Andrelis. It has to be a corner. In front of the cop, Mike Marsh doing the approach work. Well, the Anfield Road end saw 3 goals. How many will the cop see in front of them now? This is Harkness working it back to Mulvey. Stewart flicking it on. Walters! Oh! Rush is there. Kenny threw himself in front of Rush, and the ball shot into the net to make it 4-0. And Ian Rush gets the handshakes on 50 minutes. Jan Mulvey curled the first ball in. There's the header on by Stewart. Here is the cross by Walters, and Ian Rush tucking in his second goal of the night. And this, as David Kenny tries to make the challenge, is a little bit of history, because Rush has got to 17 European goals for Liverpool. Congratulations to him. He's equalled Roger Hunt, a time-honoured record there, and now he'll try and beat it. Liverpool 4 up. Redknapp.
Well, after a slow start, the opening minutes of the second half, gradually picked up the momentum, attacking the cop end. It wasn't going to be a lull for long, was it? And now it's a case of Ian Rush and Paul Stewart, because normally whoever gets a hat-trick keeps the match ball, probably vying now to see who's the first to get it.
Yes, indeed, but I think the record is the thing that Rush would really want now. This is Wright. Oh, Kenny is challenging him. Wright plays it into Nicol. I rather think what this has done is completely settled not just the match but the tie, because you can never see Apollon getting back in Limassol from this in 13 days' time. This is number 10, Christofi. They're really being outplayed now, the Cypriots. Rush again. Mulvey to Burrows. Wide of him, Harkness, now Nicol.
still no Limassol player in the Liverpool half, and that's their problem. They're having to play square and put themselves into trouble. It's the same story in the first half, and of course now they're a man short.
Yes, it's going to get harder for them, isn't it, as the match wears on and the 10 men begin to feel the strain. This is Wright. Flicked on there by Rush. He's going in again. Oh, Ioanu came across him. So the corner to be taken by Mark Walters. He's found Mike Marsh. Spoljaric is the man who's hobbling off.
Well, Spoljaric got whacked on his ankle and thought, well, that must be a free kick, picked it up with his hand and promptly conceded the free kick.
Well, it's Redknapp now. And it was Burrows coming in at the back. And Spoljaric is hobbling back onto the pitch. We've been playing nearly 9 minutes in the second half here at Anfield. It's Liverpool 4, ApollonLimassol 0. Satisfactory state of affairs for Graham Souness, who knew that an impressive performance was what was required tonight, as well as a win. This is Molby. Walters. Jinking inside, Mark Walters. Oh, and at the far post, it's 5 now, and Rush has got the record. In the 10th minute of the second half, Ian Rush scores his 3rd goal of the night and his 18th in European competition for Liverpool, and he breaks Roger Hunt's record.
Mark Walters does well, comes inside, goes for the far post with his shot, and that always means if the keeper doesn't save it properly, thank you very much from Ian Rush, onto his knees, and he's not going to miss from there. And
at this point, Graham Souness decides that 17-year-old Phil Charnock, number 16, is going to get a baptism which a few days ago he could only have dreamed of, playing in a European tie. It is the opportunity, and quite rightly so, to blood him. He's replaced Harkness. And on comes the 17-year-old lad who's come through the YTS scheme here to make his first team debut in a European match. As I was saying earlier, he's left-footed, so he'll go on to that side of the field. And David Burrows, to accommodate him, I think will drop to left-back, Trevor.
Yeah, Steve Harkness coming off was the one who was playing left-back, and Phil Charnock, the ideal time for him there to just show that left foot. He's been playing well, apparently, in the reserves, and this, what, 5-0 is the ideal game, isn't it?
Yes, Steve Highway, who is in charge of the youth set-up here, and Sammy Lee, who's now the reserve team manager, both speak very well of this lad. And he was thrilled to bits when I saw him yesterday, having just been named in the squad. Let's hope it goes well for him. 5-0 to Liverpool. Molby on the ball. Rush, the record holder, and what's more, he's now on 283 total Liverpool goals and needs just 2 more to equal that record of Roger Hunt's. So Rush with something to go for still. Molby to take the corner. This is Wright. Oh, Marsh! The goalkeeper was standing in exactly the right place.
And it was Ian Rush lurking, wasn't it, just in case it popped out of the goalkeeper's hands. I think probably Roger Hunt, if he's watching, would fancy he might have scored himself tonight.
Well, Sir Roger, as the cop used to call him, still in very good form. I spoke to him the other day, as a matter of fact. Follows Liverpool's results and fortune still very closely. For younger viewers who may not remember the great Roger Hunt. He was also a member of England's 1966 World Cup winning team. He's always blamed for being selected ahead of Jimmy Greaves, isn't he? But he always says tongue-in-cheek it was Geoff Hurst that kept Greaves out. Anyway, back to the modern game, and a very harassed team from Limassol find themselves 5 behind, and here's their left back, Pittas. Here's Walters. Wright is steamed up now on this side. Here's Rush again. This time the keeper thwarts him.
Well, the movement off the ball is causing all sorts of problems. Here you can see Mark Wright completely unmarked, moving upfield. I think he fancies he wants to get on the score sheet himself.
I think Ian Rush scored that hat-trick in only 15 minutes of playing time, Trevor. I think the first goal was 5 minutes before half-time, and the second and third came within 10 minutes of the restart, so it was a rapid way to achieve the record. And number 14 is coming on in place of Christofi, who's obviously got an injury, and the man replacing him, Sophocleos. I hope I've said that right. Anyway, he's 19 years old.
Oh, he's not going to get many touches from my point of view, that's for sure.
Well, he's a soldier, I'm told, in the army in Cyprus still, so he's moved in at right back anyway. In fact, when it settles down, I'll tell you where he is going to play, because they've waved him across now. They're still reorganising out there. There's only 10 of them, of course, and they're absolutely dragged first from one side of the field, then the other. Ioannou goes down on after a challenge with Rush, and in fact they've now sent Sophocleos over to our side of the field. He's clearly going to start on the left. So, what do you make of this then now? How many can Liverpool score? 5 at the moment.
Well, I think 7 or 8 from Alan at half-time wasn't a bad estimate. I think Ian Rush now 3, Paul Stewart. I think he got quite a heavy knock when the player was sent off on the second bookable offence and hasn't been moving quite as freely, and that's probably why Ian Rush has overtaken him. But I mean, it's an opportunity, as we say, to get the confidence back, isn't it, more than anything? The Limassol side can't get out of their own half. Ian Rush there did catch him late, and I think it's important as much as anything. Liverpool got to remember they don't want to pick up a stupid yellow card when there's so many goals ahead, because it can be important card in later rounds.
Yes, 15 minutes gone in the second half, and they've been counting the shots back in the studio, and I understand that at the moment Liverpool have had 22 attempts on goal to Apollon's 3. Gives you some idea of their superiority. And 5 of those 22 have registered, and I have a feeling there's more to come. Ioannou. Well, he won't mind if they score a few more, will he? Mulvey. Now Wright. Marsh. Nicol. It's Charnock, the youngster. Nice touch. Back to Redknapp and across to Burrows. Got it back from Stewart. Walters. Mulvey. That's a busy night for the keeper. And he hasn't helped his cause there. He threw the ball straight to Walters. But Mulvey was dreaming a bit. Kenny. Got a bit of a chance to open things up here. Apollon, this is ECWC, number 7. Offside. That's the sweeper having a rare sortie forward, but he's had a harassed night trying to keep the defence together. Number 6, Yangoudakis. Well, Rush got a hat-trick, was it, last Wednesday for Wales, so despite the fact that he's yet to score a Premier League goal, curiously, Ian Rush, he seems to be in good form in the World Cup and in European competition. Jamie Redknapp. Seen plenty of the ball tonight. Here's Mulby. Sliding it through for Stewart.
One of the problems there is getting so much possession that they're almost queuing up to sort of get a shot on target, and Paul Stewart on that occasion trying to repeat Ian Rush's first goal in the first half when he got the ball in a similar position. Probably he was a bit deeper in the penalty area, but the Limassol side just trying to get numbers back and, as you say, keep the score respectable, I think.
They haven't done as well, Apollon, as they did in the European Champions Cup, have they, last season, when, as Desmond Lynham said, they put out the Romanian champions and then extended Red Star Belgrade, who were then the holders, but they haven't shown that pedigree tonight, really. Redknapp well forward again. Sweeper who can't pass back to his goalkeeper there if he wants him to pick it up. Charnock, Redknapp. Rush wants the pull back, it never came, and Rush slapped his knees in annoyance. I think he wanted Redknapp to just cut that back to him.
And quite right, wasn't happy Ian Rush, pulled away in a perfect position. Nice touch by Charnock, though, in the 1-2.
Deep corner. Stewart goes up. Here's Charnock. Mulby. Nicol. Pitas with the header, only to Walters though. Marked right in the penalty area now. There's the cross. Mulby. And again Mulby, got it back from Rush. Well, we're 20 minutes into the second half here at Anfield, the European Cup Winners' Cup. Ian Rush 3, Paul Stewart 2, Liverpool 5, and Apollon as yet unable to score. Charnock on the ball, number 16. Burrows to Redknapp. Really a chance for Liverpool to exercise themselves in terms of their passing and team play now. Don't get many chances like this in a big game with the pressure off. This is Wright. Marsh. Slid in. Right again. Mulby. Redknapp. Burrows on to Nicol. Dramatic ball by Paul Stewart. He's got the free kick. You ought to make the point, of course, that the team from Cyprus were reduced to 10 men before half-time. Karalambros was sent off in the 44th minute, and it was for a foul on Stewart that he got the second yellow card, and thereby the red one. So it's 5-0. It's a free kick to Liverpool. Burrows and Mulby waiting.
I wonder if David Burrows had his third attempt. He got closer the last time, didn't he?
He did, but the referee's more concerned at the minute about the 10-yard ruling. Two players to mask the shot. Mulby wide.
Seniority there, yeah. Mulby's decided, look, you've had two chances, it's my turn now. 2-1, but all three have gone past, nothing the goal.
Mulby, one of the three players who Liverpool can include in their squad as foreigners. They've also got, as Trevor said earlier, Ronnie Rosenthal among the subs. Kenny, back to Jan Gudakis. Duras with the throw. Oh, well won by Charnock. He's got Stewart making a striding run inside him. He's got Rush further over. Comes off the heels, back to Charnock. There's Stewart. No, Yanu cleared. Wright. Mark Wright shot. Spooned over the bar by the keeper.
Definitely trying to join in on the act. Always had to be the goalkeeper's ball. Nice height. Just push it over the top, perhaps to get a header as the corner comes over.
And the corner will be taken by Jan Molby, short to David Burrows. Molby again. There's Rush. Oh, good save.
It was a good save. I don't think he quite got the header. Almost came off his shoulder, didn't it? And it sort of just floated to the goalkeeper. Nice one for the photographer to take with him diving.
Well, Ian Rush and this goalkeeper will meet again, not just in the second leg of this tie, but when Wales play in Cyprus on the 14th of October. I think the keeper will be having a few nightmares before then. This is Burrows. Charnock. Oh, it's collided with the referee. Oh, and that's Charnock's shot too.
Even the referee giving a bit of enjoyment to the crowd. Always like to see a referee take a tumble, don't they?
Yes, he, as I say, was in charge of that England match in Santander last week. And you may be aware that the news will follow this match at 9:30. Here's Redknapp. Stewart, no. And probably know by now that it's a big day for news. It's coming up at 9:30. Ronnie Rosenthal. Wondering if he's going to get into the action. 20 minutes to go. Liverpool lead by 5-0, although 5 not a particularly popular figure, I would think, in the news bulletin. And Jan Molby pulled up there. It's a free kick. Pittas. Kenny. Sophocleos. Goes past one man, tries to go past Wright as well. And in this, 200 Cypriot supporters realising that 5-0 down with 20 minutes still to go, their team are taking a beating and are effectively out of this tie and out of the competition. Here's Wright. Burrows out to Charnock. Flauters. Ioane with the header out.
Mark Waters actually appears to cross better from the left side than he does the right. I mean, in his Aston Villa days, I can remember he played most of his games down the left-hand side. Perhaps that's his better side for crossing.
Well, he certainly didn't get the succession of crosses in from the right that we might have expected in the first half, did he? But this is Kenny. And here's a break for Apollon. Well, it would have been, but for the linesman's flag. Sophocleos. This is Walters. Marsh's cross. Free kick given. Liverpool will be hoping that this will be something of a springboard to improve their Premier League form. Only 2 wins in 8 matches since the start of the season, and the difficult-looking game coming up against Aston Villa. Olby's shot difficult and most interesting, I suppose, because Aston Villa have 3 former Liverpool players now, Trevor.
Well, 3 good players as well. I must say, Steve Staunton, Ray Houghton, and now Dean Saunders are quality players, and I'm sure it'll add that bit of extra edge. And Villa themselves just seemingly needing that extra striker, and I'm sure Dean Saunders will give them a bit now extra going forward, and they're sort of just on the fringe of perhaps moving into a challenging position themselves, so would be slight favourites, I would have thought, on Saturday.
Forward by Marsh, and this is Walters. Rush is coming towards the near post now. It's further over that's going. Stewart jumps with the keeper, who hangs on well. Two words exchanged.
Paul Stewart probably suggested that he was held and pushed down there, and no need patting my head after you fouled me.
Redknapp, Walters, Stewart back to Redknapp, first time shot, oh, and Rush is coming in, yes, meat and drink for him, those. Ian Rush makes it 6 and takes his personal haul in this match to 4. Jamie Redknapp's shot set that up for Rush, the arch poacher in those situations, and the minute it came back off the keeper's hands, you knew where it was going to go. There he is. 74 minutes gone. And Ian Rush now, with 4 goals tonight, is within 1 of the club's all-time aggregate scoring record of 285.
Good strike by Jamie Redknapp, but when he hit the shot, I mean, Ian Rush was about 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area, and superb anticipation to get on the end of that. All right, it looked an easy goal in the end, but it was the work leading up to it, to anticipate it rebounding, that was what the goal was all about.
As I was saying earlier in the commentary, this time last season, Dean Saunders scored 4 against Kusati Lati in Liverpool's opening European game here at Anfield, so Rush could still go 1 better than that, and that would be a club record as well in Europe. Here's Redknapp. And this is Rush. But he tumbled a little there in his eagerness. He's got 15 minutes, by the way, to clamber aboard for 2 more records. Right. Charnock. Free kick given.
One or 2 tongues hanging out there, aren't there, in the Limassol side. This last 15 minutes will seem like half an hour, I think, because there's a few tired limbs. They haven't played, as you say, started this season, played many competitive games, and there is a bit even more space beginning to show now as Liverpool go forward.
Especially with 10 men, of course, having lost one of their players just before half-time. Never had any real foothold in the second half, Apollon. And Liverpool more or less spreading the play as they please in these positions. This is Marsh, Walters. This is Wright.
Well, he's crept up a few times as he's having a few smiles at his teammates. I think he'll be getting a bit of stick in the dressing room. He had probably more shots this evening. He has most occasions in a season, and I must say, I don't think, apart from one in the middle of the goal, as he tested the goalkeeper.
If the Picnic transfer does go through tomorrow, and as I said earlier, and he said there are still 1 or 2 formalities there, but if it does, then Graham Souness has an extra option, doesn't he, in the centre of defence? Probably means he could be more flexible with Steve Nicol. David James, who's been a spectator really tonight in his first European game, had to make one save in the first half. Here's Molby. 3 ahead of him for Liverpool. Redknapp. Oh, Molby wanted that back, and Redknapp chooses to shoot instead.
Good build-up, but again, the space opening up even more. Jan Molby running with it. Jamie Redknapp used him as a decoy to open up a shooting chance for himself, which is okay as long as he hits the target. And Molby these days, I don't think he's too happy to run 30 yards without getting the return pass.
No, he didn't seem terribly pleased. I agree with that. This is Marsh. Of course, that'll make 2 Danes, won't it, on Liverpool's staff now. Stewart. Oh, Charnock! Big round of applause for the 17-year-old.
Well, it turned out of nowhere. Good left foot. Best save probably from the goalkeeper of the evening as well. I'm sure both of them wouldn't mind an action replay of that one at home.
Marsh. Molby. Oh, struck Paul Stewart and bounced away to number 8 Spoljaric for Apollon. Is there a consolation of a goal at Anfield for the Cypriots? That's all it would be now. They've got a runner in, it's Kenny, the Scotsman, and there is a chance here. But he hasn't taken it. He'll be upset about that, David Kenny, with so many of his family and friends in the stand. That was his one moment of qualified glory.
Well, I bet they're all on their feet at this stage. I wondered if he'd try and clip David James, but he's a bit of a tall man to clip, and so he went for power, came off the outside of his foot, but that was an opportunity. And just a slight... I do feel for Liverpool when they play flat like that, just occasionally anyone running from deep can cut out that sort of offside trap. And that is something I think they do have to think about in the Premier League anyway.
Stewart. Yes, one of the things I know that appealed to Graham Souness about the newcomer Peakness, if he signs, is that he does have pace. Here's Spoljaric. And outside him was Ioanu, but the tackle, or the interception rather, was by Mike Marsh. Liverpool give away the free kick, very charitably. And Spoljaric offside against number 3, Pittas. Now, a yellow card for Pittas for kicking the ball away in descent. He's been booked. In the meantime, I can tell you the shot count is now 34-4 in Liverpool's favour, and we have just under 10 minutes to go. 6-0. Stewart. Walters.
And again, that right foot, I mean, he had a lot of time there. He's overhit it by 20 or 30 yards. No excuse for that. He does seem to favour more the left-hand side, and this evening, I think, after this evening, perhaps Graham Souness might have him a bit of right-wing crossing when he's next going to play there.
Nicol. Marsh, Molby, Walters, and again, still Liverpool supporters will be pleased to see the injury list dwindle a bit. I understand Michael Thomas has had to go back in plaster for a couple of weeks. And of course, long term, they still haven't seen John Barnes this season. And if they make progress in Europe, as they certainly will in this tie, Liverpool will need a fuller complement when the better teams come along. Here's Spoljaric. Pitas, number 3. Challenge. Oh, it's a penalty. The challenge was by Mike Marsh, and to the delight of their supporters behind the goal, ApollonLimassol have earned themselves a penalty kick. That challenge, here's Pitas, the number 3, coming in. It's Mike Marsh. Oh, I think he did take his leg. Penalty.
And you would have to say Spoljaric was the player to take it, because he has looked very composed and cultured of all the players, and help was involved in that penalty. Let's see if he can put it in the net.
Well, certainly their band of supporters behind the goal at the Anfield Road end hope he does. David James' chance perhaps to make a name for himself on a quiet night. Right in the corner, although the keeper did go the right way, and Spoljaric, the Serbian, gives the Cypriot supporters something to cheer about. It came 6 minutes from the end. It made the score 6-1, so that penalty puts the score where it was on this corresponding night last year when Liverpool beat Kutasilati. Consolation then for ApollonLimassol, a penalty kick. And the referee at the moment is anxious that Liverpool don't kick off with a player in the opposing half. Molby in towards Rush. I suppose technically we have to call that an away goal. Apollon would have to win 5-0 in Cyprus. Hardly think that's likely.
I can't quite see that being critical, but I mean, Graham Souness will be unhappy that they've just conceded the goal. Mike Marsh just diving in. Usually you would think the player would try and cross the ball. He somehow tried to get along the byline, and I think that Mike Marsh was actually trying to block the cross and ended up just catching him, and I think it was a penalty.
Marsh. And Stewart's got himself another free kick there. Once again, it was quite a theatrical fall, but it won't be taken as quickly as that. Charnock is still tying up his boot. The referee's not quite ready. 5 minutes to go. Molby takes it. Kenny heads it out. Burrows heads it back. Chance for Rush! Oh, he's hit the frame of the goal. That would have been number 285, but I think there was a flag up just underneath us here, and I'm not at all sure it would have stood. If we watch this closely, I think there's an offside there, isn't there, against Rush?
Yeah, the linesman below us did have the flag up, and as you see, just as the ball was headed on by Paul Stewart, I think about a yard offside. Ian Rush had probably said, I knew that, that's why I didn't really make sure of going in the net.
Yes, sure he will. This is Molby. That's an amazing haul of goals, Trevor, isn't it? 284, goodness me. Put his shirt pulling there on Stewart, but he's got round, and there's nearly a chance for Rush again.
Well, when you think as well, he had a season or two when he went to Juventus and came back when he wasn't quite himself and functioning as we know he can. I think this season he's looked very sharp. He's missed a couple of games, 2 or 3 games, but in the Charity Shield I was very impressed, and this evening, and it is a surprise, you know, that Liverpool perhaps have struggled so much this season with only 2 wins out of 8 league games.
Walters, Charnock coming up on the far side now. Oh, it went behind him. They had 2 men coming in on the 6-yard line, and it was too deep, the cross for them. Isafides gets a free kick.
We criticise him most of the evening. I should say Mark Waters did very well on that cross. It's both the forwards just got in a bit flat. Usually that pullback would have been ideal for somebody.
Just a reminder that the national news will follow as rescheduled at 9:30. Scheduled, I should say. And that's a long ball by Kenny. We have 3 minutes to go here at Anfield. Liverpool are leading by 6-1 in the first leg of the first round of the European Cup Winners' Cup. And we're going to see a brief glimpse of Ronnie Rosenthal, who is coming on to replace Paul Stewart, Liverpool's second permitted substitution. Walters. Oh, it's well played by Spoliaric. This is Pittas through again, the man whose earlier charge led to a penalty. Pulls it back, Spoliaric shoots, right blocks, and Liverpool can break. It's played in now, it's Walters on the run, it's going to beat him.
Just a lack of concentration again, though, by Liverpool, holding the line. Good ball down the byline, and he was clear again with an earlier ball across the middle. He would have had a clearer shot.
I understand, by the way, that Paul Stewart had a hamstring injury, which is why he came off there and was replaced by Ronnie Rosenthal. So another injury problem for Liverpool. Here's Walters. That's a poor cross. It's been a useful experience for Phil Charnock. There's a minute to go here now at Anfield. It's 6-1. Have you any final words of wisdom to sum up this match, Trevor?
Well, I mean, Liverpool, Graham Soon has to be delighted to get this sort of game so early in the Cup Winners' Cup, because it was a perfect one to give them a bit of confidence again. A few tumbles there and a free kick conceded, but they've had a lot of possession. Ian Rush has got 4 goals, Paul Stewart 2. It's just a case of now seeing whether they can carry it over to the league action.
Not a good time to get a yellow card, is it, really? David Burrows, who got a few last season, I think he served the UEFA suspension at one point. He's coming on the other side of the challenge there and brought down the forward, and he's been given a yellow card. And as you said earlier, 2 yellow cards in the competition means you miss a match. So with only a minute to go, it didn't seem quite the time to risk that particular tackle. In fact, we are in stoppage time. David
Burrows is a fairly aggressive, hard tackler and liable to pick up bookings along the way, but tonight wasn't the night where he needed to. Steve Nicol had the forward quite covered and almost nudged him in, and David Burrows didn't need, I don't think, to make a tackle at that stage, and I don't think they're very happy.
Well, it's a free kick to Apollon in stoppage time, and Spoliaric, who scored from the penalty, may fancy his chances of trying from longer range. Number 8. Slight deflection, it seemed, but anyway, it's over, and so very nearly is the match. I'll be looking for Walters, but he's overhit it. I rather feel the match will be remembered perhaps more for the Ian Rush European record than it will be for the significance of the result, which was comfortably in Liverpool's favour. They win by 6-1. Rush scores 4 and takes his total in Europe to 19 and beyond the record of Roger Hunt. He's still got 1 to go to equal Hunt's all-time record of goals for Liverpool. It's his night, really. The second leg will be a formality. Here at Anfield in the European Cup Winners' Cup, it was Liverpool 6, ApollonLimassol 1.